Hey dudes, so I'm going to be quickly doing a replay analysis of a game that I had yesterday. I was playing in a lobby with a pretty stacked lobby actually. It had players such as Assassin, MercifulZlot, Father, Vici, Predator from Risque. There were all these very decent players in this lobby and ended up being an hour-long game. And there was a lot of action in this lobby and a lot of small nuances that ended up making this game really I'd say interesting to watch, and definitely one that I'm quite excited to do a replay analysis on. So I had also played this game live, and so I recorded it live. However, it had 1440 HB and HD, and it was way too long to upload. It took me nearly 24 hours to get to 70% upload, and it would have been much nicer to be able to see these things live. However, I remember the game still pretty vividly, and so I'm more than happy to just do a replay analysis on it, and I can tell you exactly what was going through my mind at certain points in this game. So essentially what happened was I was going to go for a Middle East and to Egypt and Benghazi, but because I saw how stacked this lobby was, I didn't want to give up Balkans to a better player. So as I went for Bosnia, Albania and Montenegro, which is a safer option. Fortunately, I didn't go for Bulgaria here. I was very tempted, as you can see the way my cursor is clicking, I was very tempted to run into Mace to troll Predator, but I thought better of it only because I saw on the mini-map that Assassin had Slovakia and Austria an 8 income start. So I didn't want to end up throwing the game for both me and Light Blue by rushing on turn 1. I was more than confident in myself to take a turn 2 engage against Light Blue, and that's what I do. And again, like I do in my last 2-3 videos, I always look around the map. The moment I get a little notification saying your Marines are fighting or your base is fighting under attack, quickly hop over, very quickly click on the map, click on your defender, and then A click or right click whichever target you want to fire on, and always focus the low HP Marine. And just like this, I take out Red's Marine, and if I was fortunate, he wouldn't have got the income, but instead I got my bounty during the turn. And so now, because I've got my bounty before Light Blue does, I end up deciding I'm going to go for a side expand. And so my side expand is Benghazi. This was for multiple reasons. At the beginning I said I wanted to go for Middle East, and because I'm in Balkans, Middle East is the natural expand path for me. So taking Benghazi also basically secures me Egypt because I've got the port here. If I went for somewhere like Bleda, there's purple and light green that's going to be able to take it, and it's too contested to be able to hold that 2 income country. Same thing with Lithuania. If I was in Lithuania, it's too contested of a position because yellow is going to expand and take it. And I don't want to go for, again, this because Assassin's up there. So the natural expo path is the longer 2 income country in Benghazi, but it's a guaranteed card and a guaranteed income that's going to last me for a very long time. Especially because I'm going to do some shady stuff against Light Blue here. I want to get my card as quick as possible, so I'm going to get my card before Light Blue is. And we get it actually identical time, so I quickly rush Albania and I'm going to 50-50 Macedonia. And this 50-50 is huge, because I now have the northern barracks in Mace, which secures me Kosovo, Serbia, and I've got Romania barracks. So this barracks, me securing this northern barracks in Macedonia has basically won me Lower Balkans, because I've now got all access to the north, and these are now my cards. So not only am I going to be a card advantage on Light Blue, I'm actually going to have all this income is mine, and he's going to be forced to back out, but he gets a bit salty and continues to fight me. And as you see, I target by his low HP Marines, and now I'm just going to consistently swap my defender, because he's going to be target firing and saving as many Marines as I can. And now he's been abused. I'm on 20 kills to 12 loss, he's on 16 to 18. And I finish Albania in the turn, so I'm going to be on about 11 income with my side expand, and it's going to be a fairly decent expo. So I'm going to be, I'm on 11 income, he's on 7 income with Bulgaria still, because he didn't do a side expand.
The doctor is in.
Now I'm able to just take it all. And again, because of that side expand that I took, I'm on 2 cards, and he's on 0 cards. So if I get Kosovo here, by target firing his Marines, if I get Kosovo, I'm going to get my card advantage. So I'm going to be able to pump out another 5 Marines, and just like that I beat Predator early on in the game, and I secure Lower Balkans. And whilst this is happening, Assassin is taking the north. Assassin is taking Germany, he's taking Poland, Denmark, and he's fighting Light Green. And Assassin's getting stalled by Father just a little bit up here. And it was just very interesting to me, seeing the dynamic of the map, how Assassin has his playstyle where he wants to go up, whereas I like to go down, and you'll see the strengths of both of them. His position is extremely strong because he can get Scandi from Denmark, and opening up Scandi, he can then take Baltics and Russia, and it's a very strong position because he's then dictating the game. Whereas I'm fighting early on because I've got a very contested position. However, whenever I push Middle East, which is going to be hard because there's two players, he can always hit me whenever he wants. So his playstyle is extremely scary to go up against because his decision to go up north basically counters mine, and he could have hit me whenever he wanted and decided he just wants to kill me. And I decided I was going to hit green before I saw green had all of Middle East. So I was like, it's better for me to shy off that one. However, because he's gone for Romania to block me with so many Marines, I decided I'm going to go for Egypt, and I'm going to block Egypt instead. And hopefully that way it will give me a different path of hitting green, where I can just outplay him to beat him. And that's essentially exactly what happens. I then go for Egypt, and green ends up tanking down south, and it opens up the map for me really heavily. So right now I'm going to be finishing up the north before Assassin, just up to Assassin. I want to piece him because I don't want to fight him. And then I look down south, and it's just the weirdest. It was just the weirdest thing to me. Green tanks Egypt to break it, so that's 20 minerals gone. So I'm like, okay, that is unacceptable. You're going to tank against me after I just let you live in Romania. I'm going to tank you. So I tank him, and he then tanks a little later, so I've already got my units in position to target fire it, and I get 2 free shots before he realizes, and I get 5 bounty for free, and now I'm able to push through and punish these units yet again. And because green did that, I was very confident in myself that I'd be able to break green in the south as well from Libya, from my side expand that I took earlier on. I was very confident that I could use that now to stall green and win Middle East, because I saw his micro wasn't that good. He reacted a little bit late. So just like that, I end up baiting green again in the south. So green moves into Libya, and green moves into Libya, and I was like, okay, I've got 36 minerals. I'm going to pop out 2 marauders, a tank, and I'm going to run that tank down and snipe it. And that's what happens here. He ends up overextending that tank just a little bit too much because he doesn't pull it all the way back. And because it's slowed now, I get another 5 minerals for free, which enables me to build a vulture to deal with these, to counter these marauders. And that gives me a lot of value, that vulture. See, right now I could have fight against red, but red's same income as me, and it's a bit deceptive because he only has Turkey and Northern Middle East, but he's actually only about 7-8 income behind me. So I'm actually going to wait on red. I'm not even going to piece red. I'm just not going to speak to red because I want the Middle East, but I'm not going to attack him. Instead, I'm going to focus entirely on green, and this bit here, I make a mistake by leaving a gap in the south, but I'm going to target fire his marauders down. And by doing that, and by blocking it off with my marauders, I'm able to get a lot of bounty, 1 or 2 bounty per marauder kill, which is huge. And I saved my tank, very luckily. I thought this marauder was mine, but I managed to save my tank still by target firing. And build an SCV, and I saved my vulture as well, which is really, really big. And just like that, I've now killed 2 tanks of green. Green is down 50 wreck loss score, and I'm in a fantastic position to break Middle East from the south. He rushes for my tank. I pull it back straight away because it's not healthy enough with the SCV healing it to be able to punish him. And there's a bit of a cute play I do here. Again, green gets greedy for my tank, but my tank is now healed up with this SCV, the value SCV, that I can survive a 1 tank shot. So again he rushes in for my tank, and he's not able to kill it, and he loses all his meat shield. And because I don't have any marauders in my army, I can't kill this tank very easily, so I focus the defender, and I make the tank become the base defender instead, because there's no marines around it. And just like that I kill the 3rd tank off green, and green leaves the game. And now I'm just trying to secure all of Middle East before red can get it. And in the meantime, I'm able to have a look at the mini-map while I'm playing. I'm able to see what's happening, who's going to be doing what. I see Predators out of the game now, and I'm just reading the chat. I start doing diplomacy. I peace up Yellow, yo, Yellow, we cool brother, how we doing brother, let's do this, peace up. And then I warn Red, because Red's trying to snake some of the income I'm taking. So, yo Red, I killed Green, yo man, not you better get out here. Red backs out, and just like that, I've secured the entire south without any competition at all. And it's been interesting. Assassin is now just finished rushing this turn. Assassin's going to be 74 income on his next turn because of that. And I don't really like that. It's a bit scary because I don't really know if I can take him in a 1v1 just yet. However, there's still very good players in this lobby. There's MercifulZlot on grey, and there's Vici on light green, who plays very solidly. And now I was going to attack red this turn, but there's only 8 seconds left on the clock, and if I pushed red without properly seeing what's happening, like without properly like looking at the map, I could end up just getting baited and losing a lot of units. But I knew that I had more units than red because I end up looking at Turkey, and when I look at Turkey later on, I see that red has spent a lot of... He spent 3 tanks and about 9 or 10 marauders, sorry. So that's about 4 turns worth of income for him. So I wasn't worried that red would ever be able to hold a push if I did it on him, since I kept all of my tanks alive. However, the most interesting thing happened this game was the fact that Assassin was grudging Father and was hunting Father on the map, and I decided I'll let Father live in Libya. And the reason I do that is, Father, if I let Father live, he's going to be messing up and fucking with Assassin all game long. And just because of that, it means he's going to buy me so much space on Assassin, and Assassin's spent all this navy to kill him, yet he's not going to be able to kill him. He spent about 7-8 banshees there, you know, 5 or 6 Vikings, all to kill Father. And if Father survives, and you know, Assassin's still fighting up north against light green, but the fact that Father survived and Assassin hasn't been able to kill him has just enabled me to get basically a full long-term ally. And over here, actually, if I go back just 1 second, I actually was on fire. As I push in here on red, I end up letting red evac because my idea was I didn't want red to be in a position where red would grudge me the same way he would grudge Father, and Father would grudge Assassin. So what I do is I block red's exit off, but when red decides he's going to run to the port, I hesitate before trying to kill him over his units, and then I decide you can evac instead. So I pull away, and I could have targeted and got 2 tanks or all of them units, but I just let him know he can evac. And by letting him evac, I was hoping red wouldn't want to grudge me for taking his income, because he had an island, he had Kazakh, and it's just the most annoying thing having a small player decide they're going to mess with you just because you attack them. And this backfired entirely. Red just grudged me the entire game, and he decided he's going to take Caucus off me, off Assassin, and he's going to block my entrance. So I was a bit like, oh no, this is so annoying. Red's actually going to try and block me in a choke after I just let him evac. I thought that was a bit like slimy, but it is what it is. He ends up doing that, and I didn't want to pull my units away to fight Assassin, because if I pull all my units away, then red's just going to come and take my land again. So I had to decide that I've got to break red, and that's what I do. I end up moving into red's position, and I end up just putting a few Hellions to try and burn some trees here. And I play a bit of Ring Around the Rosie, and I start tiptoeing in and out against red. And just like that, I end up just trying to use my tanks. He's got no medics. I'm trying to get as much damage as I can to his units with my tank, lose some marines because they're conscripts, and just get as much value as possible. And I end up pushing through. I end up pushing one more time. He moves his units just out of position on these Hellions, and this is what I push because he gave me too much space on the map. And he loses all these units, and finally red's dead on my border. He runs away for some Hellions. Assassin lets him get out with some Hellions. So I sort of remembered that. And in return, I'm like, okay, I'm going to start doing some diplomacy around the map. I'm going to think about what can really happen. I'm going to build a Viking, because the Viking costs 10 minerals, and these give you 1 to 2 bounty apiece. So if I kill all 5, there's a chance that my Viking could actually get, it could just be a free Viking and pay for itself. So it was a nice little investment. So here, Assassin's pumping out Marines at this port, and I know he's going to drop for Father. He's going to do a doom drop on me. In Egypt, so I was prepared for this. As you can see, I'm looking and I see Father's taking my land, so I decide I'm going to help Father. I'm going to build about 7 or 8 tanks here, maybe I think, yeah, 7 or 8 tanks. No, it was only 6 tanks then, but it's enough without depleting my bank too much, just to help Father kill these Marines. And I can use this drop by Assassin as an act of war. So I was able to play stupid. I was pleading ignorance here. I was saying Oh, I cannot believe you're going to drop me like that without any warning, without me even looking. That is so scummy, that is so slimy. At least next time give me a warning. Then instead I declare on him. I saw Assassin drop me, he lost a lot of units, his units aren't as strong in the map right now, and I've got a lot of tanks still alive. So what I do is, I end up in the chat, I become very vocal. I say 2-turn warning, next time you drop me, give me a warning. Like, you know, it's BM to just drop me like that without me looking. So at least I'm giving you the courtesy. So it is dirty what I did, because I knew he was going for father. But me keeping father alive means there's someone who's going to be grudging Assassin all game long. And you'll see Assassin actually throws his entire income and position just to kill this one player. And honestly, I respect it. If that player warrants that much attention from Assassin, then, you know, he's doing something right.
The doctor is in. The doctor is in. The
So
doctor
here,
is
I
in.
said don't drop me next time when I'm
doctor
not
is in.
looking. 2-turn warning. And this is all because I don't want to sit any longer. I don't want this game to sit. It's turn 16. I finally won my corner. I finally killed off the players on my corner. And I just want to have some fun. And so this is all like a position I'm going to try and keep Dark Green alive. I'm going to try and force Assassin off this position. And I want Dark Green to just get out of there. So I let Dark Green pass, and I go deal with Assassin. So again, I'm going to start moving up into Assassin's land, and I end up tanking. I get the jump on him, because I've given him, it's been over 2 turns now, but this is the 3rd turn of the warning. And I decide I'm going to start tanking and pushing in. And he doesn't spend all his bank, he holds on. I guess he's going to see how much I'm going to spend on him. He's probably got about 300, 200 bank at this point. But if we check the replay, I just want to see how much bank he has. Yeah, he's got 267 bank, and he spent 3 tanks. He had about 300 bank before I end up pushing him. But he decides he's going to save it, and I get a free tank for free, which is always really nice. But now I've got a position, and I thought to myself, if I'm looking at the map right now, I'm killing Dark Blue off, and Dark Blue is losing a lot against me. And the biggest part is, Light Green and Grey, they're still fighting, so it still gives me a lot of leeway to continue pushing Dark Blue. And I'm taking whatever I can. I'm not going to lose any of my army. I'm just going to try and take income off Dark Blue, and I'm going to try and give the income away to others. So here what I do is I kill the Banshees, and I try and get a free tank, and I run back in. So I get all 3 Banshees, I get 1 tank, and I run out. And now I'm like, okay, awesome. Now this is like the position that I wanted. Assassin's on the back foot. I'm going to try and force Denmark, try and make Assassin spend in Denmark while I move out. So I move out my entire army, and this other army is going to cover the choke. And then Assassin, so this makes a lot of sense. I've got all my units down south in Libya, and it's about, I had 6 tanks here originally, and a lot of, I've got the income wave just came, so I've got 100 minerals, 15 cards here. I could have built 2 BCs, 3 Banshees to kill this push from purple. But if I did that, then it will do nothing for me, because purple is a small player who's sharing Africa with grey. So if I decided that I'm going to end up blocking purple in, purple's going to consistently try and poke me while I'm fighting against Assassin. And I don't want to be losing all my units and having just a smaller player constantly focus me. Also, if I killed off purple here, there's a chance grey would sweep back round and take purple's land, and then grey will be bordering me in the south. And if grey is bordering me in the south, then grey could push Libya and break my Middle East whenever I'm not there. So I decide I'm going to let purple into Middle East to get him a better border, and to basically give him land, give him this confidence that he's able to take land off me when he wants. And he's easily probably the weakest player in the lobby currently. He's probably a little better than Terran Elite, but Justice is the weakest player currently in this lobby. And I was not worried at all letting him in. And this is where the game got a little bit interesting, because yes, I broke Denmark, but then Assassin decides he's going to spend now, and Assassin spends his bank in Liechtenstein and his push into Germany. So this is where it was a very close call. I end up wrapping my army back from Poland to deal with Liechtenstein, and I've already got a very large amount of tank count, but a lot of my army is marauders up north, and all I've got to do is pump out a few tanks and marines up there, and I can smash that army, which is exactly what I do. I end up managing to focus both runs. I set an attack command targeting his 3 tanks in the south, and up north, all I've got to do is micro my tanks, and then my marauders take over. I'm able to kill all of Assassin's units, and I still let Purple come into my land. I don't bother dealing with him. And I punish Assassin super hard. So his little bit of greed on Dark Green ended up, I guess, throwing him the game. Because he just opened himself up to a huge attack and the timing from me. And now I move all my units away from Purple again. I move some of them back down from Kazakh. But Purple, I was happy to give him income, and I didn't want to lose units against him in giving income. And of course Red drops me because Red was a bit salty with me. But again, that happens. And I end up messing up here. I could have killed all these Hellions if I played it correctly, but I end up overspending my cards in the wrong places, and Red gets out with another Hellion. He tries to drop me later on, but messes up. Sorry to say, here, if I spent my 3 cards, I could have just dealt with these so much sooner. This is probably the most important thing here. If I'm looking at the win condition of this game, the easiest win condition would be taking out the strongest player, which is Assassin. And also by doing that, there's ways of going around it. It would either be me hitting him, which is like I did, but once I've hit him and it's in this post-war phase where light green and grey will start piecing each other, the other way to restrict to like basically get a win condition would be cutting all of the land that Assassin has, but giving it away to other people. So France, for example, I can never realistically hold France, so I take France and I give it to Grey. And then I take Italy and I give it to Grey because it was mine. So but me taking the land but then willing to give it up to Grey just means that I cut it off from Assassin, so his income is never going to be very high. And I do the same thing here in Germany. I took Germany off Assassin with no intention of keeping it. I take it and I give it to whoever wants to take it. In this sense, it was light green. And so now we've got a nice position where dark green is in Georgia defending the port for me, which is I was completely with. I was giving him this income. I wanted him to be able to stall Assassin, but as you can see, Assassin was having none of it. Assassin was going to push this choke regardless of what I was doing. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to push a little bit. I see light green and grey piece, and I know they're going to start hitting me. So that's when I offer France to grey, and light green's going to drop me. So I'm going to end up pulling all my units back and going to deal with my Middle East. So as you see, I offer everything to Grey. I'm trying to give Grey all the income that I can get without giving it to Assassin. And in the meantime, I'm trying to save Dark Green in the south again. So if I speed this up a bit, I end up moving all my units back down south, and I don't end up taking a fight. I dodge Light Green very hard. I actually really didn't want to take that engage, because if I fought Light Green, then I would have been overextended, because as you can see, Middle East, Purple makes another push in Middle East. He ends up doing a drop, and I'm forced to lose this position because I didn't defend it very well. And I actually had no real intention of defending it, at least for now. So I end up moving this army, and I realise I'm in a very awkward position where I might get pincered by Assassin in his attempt to try and fight Father. So I end up actually trying to save Father's tanks and his marines here by targeting the tank up on Assassin, whilst also moving this unit back up through Iraq. And I'm really trying hard not to lose this army and my Balkans army. This is where I'm in a bit of a pinch, a really, really dangerous position right now. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to just consolidate my lands. And as always, I back up, I move all my units back. I know I've got the most units in the game and I'm in a very strong position. I just want to minimize my losses. Because he's not target firing my tanks, I'm able to get a lot of stuff out. I'm like, okay, Assassin's got units up there. I've got to just try and fight those units without losing anything to Purple. And again, Assassin spends all this money on Hellions trying to target fire and hunt Father down. I'm like, okay, he really wants him dead. So that's, as you can see, I'm punishing him for it. In order to kill Father, Assassin's lost all his income, all his armies, and now he's losing another 7-8 Hellions to just 2 tanks. And so it's been amazing for me in terms of what I can get off him. And again, over here, I'm getting a lot of Hellion kills, I'm getting a lot of Marine kills, and Assassin gets punished because of this deadly push to try and deal with Father. So I don't care about light green taking income. As I've said in my previous video, Balkans is extremely expendable. The entirety of Balkans is just additional income to supplement my army, and I don't mind losing any of it. So when light green decides he's going to push down, I'm okay moving my army into Middle East to secure Middle East again, and then wrapping back on Balkans. So that's what I do. I move my army back, and I want to deal with purple now, because purple's getting a bit greedy. He's forcing my hand a little bit too much. So I try and piece light green, because I'm only at 38 income now, and I want my corner. So while light green says no, I then force purple back, and by forcing him back, I end up having the opportunity to go kill them, to go kill light green again. Fortunately, I only lost 2 tanks there. That could have been a lot worse. That was actually really, really bad for me.
The doctor
I'd have been 100 income down the drain, which I don't have anymore. I don't have the 100 income. I'm now 4th on the income charts. I accidentally killed off father. I accidentally killed a Hellion off father while trying to save him, which is really bad. But now I finish up Northern Balkans. Purple sees I'm a very big boy. He ends up backing up, and I'm okay with that. I'm like, okay, Purple backing up. I'm going to give him back to Egypt. I'm going to take my land again, and then I'm going to go force light green out. I probably could have used more than half this army, or maybe even half this army, to pull all the way back to help Balkans. But instead I decide, it's okay, I'll just do what I can right now with what I've got. And in the meantime, while all that happened, while I was punishing Assassin in Middle East, Yellow decided he was going to take the opportunity to take Assassin's land, which was perfect. Because that way it meant Assassin's builds, he's dealing with the Yellow for that little period of time, and then I'm able to come up and retake my land. And I wanted to piece light green for a little while, just while I can secure my corner again. But light green ends up being a bit snaky. He ends up double teaming yellow with assassin. So then I'm like, okay, well, I can't really let yellow die because yellow ended up helping me when I got teamed. So I actually want to end up teaming light green or hitting light green while he's hitting yellow to just force him out to give yellow some breathing space against his 1v1 in with assassin and Scandi.
We could use some help here.
So that's exactly what I do here. I end up coming to cut Russia income just from Assassin, just to make it harder while he's dealing with Yellow. Because I want Yellow to try and stall Assassin as long as possible, and Light Green's coming to surround this entire army. Light Green takes out Yellow's entire army, while Yellow's not looking. So I was like, oh, well, he's targeting the tanks. I was like, okay, that's really unacceptable. That's a bit BM. So then I go in and end up hitting Light Green again.
You want a piece of me, boy? We could use some help here. Gangway, coming through.
And as you can see here, ends up being a pretty interesting fight. This fight here, I was a bit overextended with these tanks because I've got no meat shield and I've actually got no bank left other than just that 16 cards to build marines. So this micro in this fight is very important on how I was either going to lose 20 tanks or I was going to end up killing and saving most of my tanks. And it was a very fine line because he played this extremely well, and I've actually got to take my hats off to him. Yeah, put this down to normal speed. He ends up rushing the Poland north while my army is still coming out of Slovakia. So I'm like, okay, he's targeting 1 tank, 2 tank, 3 tanks. I'm like, okay, this is a bit awkward. I lose 3 tanks, nearly 4 tanks at the very beginning of the fight. And he's got a little concave on me. However, again, I've got a marauder line in the middle, and he actually has a weaker marauder line compared to me. So then I'm able to push my south side and push him back into Ukraine, which enables me to wrap back around on the northern side, which ends up winning me the game. So I saw my side at the bottom was stronger, so I pull back a little bit and then I all in. I massively push forward, and you can see when I target his tanks, he instantly moves his tanks back and he makes my tanks move forward. But I also wanted to secure this empty bit of land here, and now his tanks are vulnerable. I'm able to get 1 tank, 2 tank, 3 tanks, and I'm also able to start target firing the tanks at the bottom. And none of us are producing many units at the moment. We're still flooding in, but as you can see, I've got a tank advantage still. And because most of my meat shield is basically dead, but my tanks are alive, I'm able to focus his stuff down without losing too many more tanks in this game. Unfortunately, Yellow came in with a bit of marauders in the back to help me out just a little bit, which ends up helping me. So I lost 1 extra tank at the end, but instead I'm able to punish Light Green to the point that I lost all my meat shield, but I've got all my tanks still alive up north, which was huge. This was a really poor engage from me, just for one reason, because I've got a lot of units up north, I've got a lot of units down south, so that was probably a third of my army, or of my max army, all in one area in one fight. If I fought that with even just a little bit more units that I pulled up from down south, or just a few more units from Russia, maybe, then I actually would have been in a great position, to just beat light green there. So now I was able to save yellow and help him, repay him for the help that he gave me while I was getting teamed. So now I'm like, okay, how realistically am I going to win this game? Or how am I going to keep this game moving to stop it from sitting? And again, if I look at the map, Purple's only got one expand. His expand route is into Middle East, and I'm 70 income again, so I'm in the big threat. So what I try and do is I make the decision on the fly that I'm going to end up giving Middle East up again. I'm going to give up Balkans, or because I need grey to come in. I need like light green and grey to like have this. One of them is going to have to start coming in and making the border. So I end up giving up Middle East, and what I do is I then move up to the north because Assassin was fighting so long. I realized Assassin wasn't that strong. So I actually wanted to go and take Scandi as my new corner. And by taking Scandi as my new corner, I then give Purple an outlet into Balkans, a new entrance. So he can make a new border with the Balkans player, which would be light green, or yellow, or grey, for example. So by me evacuating Balkans and my corner, in an attempt to get my new corner, I gave up how much income? I gave up nearly 70 income I'm giving up in order to just gain the corner. But in doing so, I don't want to lose my army. So I've actually got to start consolidating my army before I push Scandi. And income I can regain. Once I've taken Scandi, I can wrap back down and I can take all my income back. That's not an issue. But just keeping a healthy army count is what's really important in this game. So this is what I do. I end up giving Yellow some income back and helping him take income. And I give him Poland because I want him to, because knowing the way Yellow's played this game so far, I wanted him to be the border to light green. Because when light green would invade, I wanted Yellow to slow light green down just enough to the point where I could keep my income in Balkans a little bit longer. So that's what I do. I focus light green out a bit, and then with this big army that's both together, I then go up and I take Scandi. And here you can already see me. I'm preparing my position in the Middle East against Purple with Goliath. I've got my position here, and this is all just a front. The moment I lose Balkans, I'm going to move this army away. And the moment I break Scandi, and I'm able to damage Assassin, because he's only got 5 tanks, I then move my army away because I don't want to take and engage against Purple. Purple's a weaker player. I want Purple to come in, get some income, and I want Purple to make the new frontline to other people, and not just be frontlining me. So here it's a bit of a standoff against Assassin, but he makes a weird mistake of he tries to come out as if he's going to come and kill me, as if he's the aggressor. But he doesn't realise I've got so many tanks that I push this. He's only got 1 tank here, so I'm able to come in, snipe this tank, and push this border and break Karelia straight away. And my objective here is, if he wants to wrap around with this army, I can keep these Goliaths and these units at the back to deal with that. So now I've already broken Karelia, and I've lost nothing. So Assassin has lost his entire army and his entire hold in the north, because he stepped out against me. And in the meantime, as expected, Yellow is going to slow light green down a little bit. So light green's going to come straight for my Balkans, which is a very good play from him, and it was expected. That's why I left it completely undefended. So I've given up my Balkans income, Yellow's stalling light green, and they're going to start fighting. And in the meantime, I'm getting a new corner whilst taking out Assassin yet again from his safety zone up top. And so now, I'm the biggest in the play. I'm the biggest in the game still in terms of army. Now you can see I'm dictating the game. I'm actually making the moves in the game, making the moves on the map, and I'm giving up land, shifting the dynamic on the map. So I move out now because light green comes in, and I let Purple come in. So I'm changing the dynamic of this game to the point that it's being forced to move because of me. If I sat in my chokes and I let Assassin come back in, kill Yellow, it would have been a much harder game because Assassin's a better player than Yellow and Purple. But now Purple's a bigger player, light green's coming in and dealing with Yellow, and light green's is a bigger player. But yeah, I've got one less threat, Assassin, who's no longer in that winning position or stronger position. So instead I've taken Russia, so I'm losing income in Middle East, but I'm taking Russia, and I decide here that I actually don't want to give Purple Turkey just yet, because light green is, if light green pushes in, light green is focusing on Yellow, and he's not going to have that much to push in on me. It's mainly Marines. So I decide I'm going to hold Turkey as my stand, and by that I'm going to be able to peace Purple, or hopefully I'll tell him to make peace. And It will also give me an entrance to come back and hit light green for when the time comes. So that's what I do. I end up losing a lot of income, I give up all my Balkans income and my lower Middle East, but in return I end up taking Scandi and I'm able to force Assassin out the north of the map and keep him confined to the south, which is really big. It ends up like really helping me out in terms of safety and in terms of getting a better corner.
You want a piece of me, boy? Go, go, go!
So here, light green ends up trying to push Turkey. I realise light green's a bit salty with me. He's salty that I killed him in Poland, so he also came and cut Russia. And I realised the position that I'm in, that I've actually got to take Assassin out of Denmark in order to threaten Germany and Poland from the north. So this stronghold here is really important, because if I don't take out Denmark now, Assassin's going to be able to take my Scandi when I've moved my army away, and I don't want to have an army in Sweden. So I force this choke. I end up losing a Goliath and 2 tanks doing this push, but it's entirely necessary. I didn't have enough for a VC here, and ultimately I didn't really want to spend on one. I just had to brute force my way through this choke and target fire those tanks, and my hope was that if I kill these Marines quick enough here, I would be able to swap my tank out. But I wasn't able to get the barracks in time or the port time to swap. But now I've got the port, I've broken this position, and while I was busy doing that, light green ends up rushing my army that's coming out of Scandi. And this was a really, really smart play from him. I've got tanks exposed all around the map. I've got all these units that are now out of position, and they're wandering towards just this strong push from light green. And I notice it a fraction too late. And the moment I notice it, I end up moving all my units up, and I'm expecting to lose a lot of tanks here. And what I do is, I've broken Denmark, and now I'm able to come back into Germany and up from the south. And I wasn't expecting purple to hit me, because I just pieced him. So having a truce of purple was really helpful here. So the only issue is really grey, to be honest. And I'm fighting light green massively, so depending on what happens with light green, which basically shapes the game. If I kill light green's army with minimal losses, I'm in a winning position. But because light green gets a really, really good jump on me, he gets all these tanks and he's target fires so well, he actually ends up putting me in a super scary position. Assassin redrops Denmark, threatens Sweden. So now I'm in this split position. This army cannot defend against this army, and this army ends up getting taken out, and I end up losing this army too at a later stage. And I end up moving my army from the south in, and I'm like, oh shit, Grey's here now. Better bail, better move half my army away. And I'm like, okay, I've got to move up, I'm going to try and break Finland, but I can't, because now he's got the choke. And just like that, my position is basically compromised. I need to kill off light green's army at all costs. Regardless of the losses, I need to kill off light green's army, and then grey is the biggest threat at that point, and then purple is going to help me with, will hopefully help me with grey once grey is big enough, depending on my losses. So here, I'm still trying to rally my troops up from the south. I'm going to lose all my Balkans income yet again, and grey goes straight for my army, which is really annoying, because I end up taking all my stuff back, getting all these cards again, yet I'm not gaining anything, because grey's taking my land back again. So now he's in this awkward position, light green's in this awkward position in the north, and I'm a bit pissed that he went for such a strong play on me, so that I've got to break him. I can't allow this to happen. I've got to regain my position here. So you'll see what I do. I end up wrapping around and then forcing this choke, because his meat shield isn't that strong, and I've got Goliaths which eat meat shields alive. So once this army rejoins, I then make the push, and I lose a lot of units doing this, but I had to do it in order to keep the game progressing. I had to force light green out of the game and let purple come back in the game. So when purple hit me in Turkey, I was actually okay with it, but I was a bit upset that he took this income off me, because I was very small by the time he took it off me. So now I've broken the choke, and now all of this is up for the taking. And again, he starts target firing my tanks, and this annoyed me a bit by grey. I actually really wanted to punish him after this. It annoyed me that he was going that far to take my income. And again, I should have killed all of light green here, and I probably should have blocked this. But my thinking was, if I end up hitting light green up in Scandi and end up punishing him and killing everything, then there's a chance that he's going to completely grudge me again like he did. But By me breaking the choke and killing only half his army and letting a lot of it escape, and then not punishing all those tanks, for example. Like a lot of them escape, and I don't continue chasing it. I let them get out, and then I just don't deal with it at all. My main aim is now to just finish off my land, and then go deal with, come back down and deal with Assassin who's focusing on yellow. So here, what I do is, I tell Purple, I try and reach to his heart, speak to his heart here. I'm like, yo, come on, man, you broke peace, like stop a caucus at least, and he does respectfully stop a caucus. So yeah, Purple break peace, but now, as I said, Purple's got Middle East. Purple's now borders are to Grey and to me. So now Purple is no longer going to just be focusing on me as his main expansion route. It's now going to be split very heavily between Grey, who's now at 76 income and has been banking the entire game, and myself, who has been fighting the entire game and has just had a huge chunk of his army just demolished and taken out.
The doctor is in.
So my idea now is to finish up Nenets, because I do not want Assassin up in the north, behind my lines. So I'm going to try and, my ideal goal would be to take Assassin out of Balkans, stop Franz Joseph, because that's going to threaten my Scandi, and try and do what I can to just regain some income in the middle again. I'm trying to give Yellow some income, because Yellow's been a pretty decent ally this entire game so far. So I'm just trying to retake as much as I can. At 40 income, I want to try and get up at least to 50 or maybe 46, 47 income. And so then I decided, well, I'm going to take Ukraine off Yellow, because Yellow can't hold it by himself. So I take it off Yellow, but of course I'm not going to take everything from him. And then, while I'm hitting Assassin, Grey decides he's going to continue to come hit me, even though he's at 76 income. Grey's going to continually come and hit me. And I'm just trying to play this game where because Assassin's weaker, I'm going to, just like Assassin's taking income off Yellow because Yellow's weaker, I see the income that he's taking as free income. He's just trying to get whatever income that he can without losing his troops. So I'm going to try and deny any income that he can and just take it for myself without having my army in a position where it's going to die. So then I see Grey's continuously pushing me every time I go for dark blue. So I'm going to try and, of course, I'm going to try and start talking smack in the chat, because I see they're both in risky, but none of them team together. One's MercifulZlot and one's Assassin. And of course, if you just say stuff like this, then it starts winding people up, and so it causes a bit of drama in the chat as always. And I think it's a great strategy. You just people end up talking about it, and it slows the game down a little bit while you're able to recuperate your losses and think about what's happening on the map. So just like that, I'm end up just popping in. Oh well, why is Grey still hitting me when he's on 80 and I'm just fighting around a little bit. So then the moment I come down for Assassin, when he goes for Yellow again, Grey comes in to hit me, and so I'm able to manipulate what they're doing, or what Grey's doing, as if they're teaming, when in reality they're not. The issue with clans is, a lot of the time people will call them teaming because they're in clans, but naturally you're going to end up helping your friends, who, even if you're not teaming in game or pre-team or anyway, you're going to naturally help your friends out more than you're going to be helping a random out. So if your friend's having a hard time, you're naturally going to tend to want to help them out, just subconsciously. And it's not actually pre-teaming in this way, but it's just the way it's happening. I'm able to use the fact that they've got the clan tag as a way of saying these two may be together. Everyone, let's keep an eye on them. Let's get the focus off of me, and let's get the focus onto Grey and dark blue. And that way I'm able to keep up my income and also make myself look less threatening. So here, even Purple says my position is weakened, but actually my position is much stronger. My position is now secure only to light green, and I've got my army in a very strong position, and I also haven't got any threats to me. Purple now borders Grey, and light green now borders me and Grey, and now Yellow's now taken out the game, and I'm in a fantastic position now. So as you can see, I went a huge circle on this map. I ended up moving from Balkans to Middle East, losing Middle East, taking Balkans, losing Balkans, and then losing Middle East again, just to take Scandi. And I secured the north of the map, and now I'm going to be able to play this position much easier. And now I see how much Grey has. Grey ends up building a lot more units when I go for dark blue, and Grey ends up pushing me a little bit more, and I'm able to continually use this as a way of manipulating the map a bit more. I end up moving half my army from Scandi to wrap around. So I can't, in my position, I can no longer affect the influence on the map, because I can't realistically fight Grey one-on-one just yet. However, what I can do is I can wait for the opportunity of grey to overextend or someone else to make the play and that I can react to it. So in this case, grey declared, light green declared 2-turn warning on grey. And I was like, okay, brilliant. The moment I saw that, I moved my army around to prepare for a position onto grey. So, Assassin again, he wants to save this army because this is his only real land army. And like, gratefully for me, he defends the barracks. And I'm able to push through and target these tanks. And because of this is no longer a defender, he's no longer able to swap the tanks. And so I end up cleaning this entire army up. And also, again, taking out a huge army that could have ended up dropping on me later on. And so this was perfect for me. Light green is getting declared on by grey, and not only that, I've got my army wrapping around to secure this army here, and I'm able to then move in together onto grey yet again. I was just trying to, see what's happening with light green. So I asked him for peace at this point. I just wanted to see what he'll do. He says he peaces no one, but he's going to attack grey, which was great news to me, music to my ears. He's at 85 income. So I'm in a position where the moment I see anything move, I'm going straight in on grey. My army's there. I'm going to have to force grey's army out and give light green an opportunity to drop. Because remember, I let light green evac from Norway. So I know light green has got about 8 or 9 tanks and a lot of vultures and a lot of marauders. And these dropships I knew are entirely full. So these dropships are going to try and land wherever they can. But I'm going to make space for light green to drop grey without grey just flooding him with a bank. So the play for me, the logical play is either, so the logical play for me here was going to be to hit grey, but then after I hit grey, I end up taking out Franz Joseph, because I don't lose any of my army while hitting him. So yeah, I see grey make his move, and I rush in. I don't make any hesitation to hit grey, I go straight for him. And then grey ends up backing out. I use my Denmark army as a way of pulling his army out. He pulls out, and now I've got a really, really solid position here in Poland. And light green is able to have his Netherlands port still. And just like that, I've made now space for light green to come drop his entire army in Netherlands while I hold grey. And this was fantastic. This was exactly what I wanted. I'm now taking back income, I'm taking my cards back, and I'm also making space for light green to come in. And grey is now, he's done a really weird position. He's moving his army out instead of fighting in the chokes. Grey ends up trying to force light green, and I was amazed. I was like, yeah, this is okay, freebies. This is free kill right here. I'm gonna swoop in and surround this army, and light green has just got this absolute meat grinder on grey. So here's a sandwich, and this ends up winning me the map because now you see I've unlocked both my armies to come meet. So now my Denmark army and my Balkans army are in one piece. And of course, purple's going to come in, and that's expected. You're okay to let purple come in. So what I end up doing is I end up coming in and focusing on grey entirely, and then wrapping back around on purple. The moment purple reaches Ukraine, Poland, I've already killed grey. So that I've got my full army now, which is no longer split, in a position where I can wrap around and defend purple. And that's exactly what I do here. Purple moves up, he just sends his units on attack command, no problem. Grey just lost all his units, me and light green got a huge amount of bounty from it, and just like that, I'm going to end up focusing on purple now, and purple's like, oh no, I've overstepped my position. So I've now got these units down south, as a way of just trying to snipe whatever I can, and if I move in too early, if I moved into attack now, I would probably lose all these units to these tanks. So what I do is I spend 100 minerals on marauders, and I wait till the tail end of his army to snipe 6 or 7 tanks, because my army's too far away to be able to stop it. So I wait for the units to get out, and now I go for the snipes, and I take everything. I end up taking 5, 6, 7, 8 tanks at the end of this push. And it's huge, it's like a really, really big take for me. And as I saw by that, purple was really bad when it came to lag, and he wasn't able to control his army very well. So I end up getting more tanks here for free. And I realised, because purple's so bad, he's actually not the biggest worry for me at all. It's funny because light green was still fighting grey. And I was like, okay, this is amazing. I've got a bit of space now, so what am I going to do? I'm going to end up deciding, I think I'm going to just secure my position. I'm going to get Balkans, I'm going to let them fight as long as possible. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give Germany and a bunch of income to light green, because light green's at 21 fighting 45, so I give light green free reign on my income, because I'm at 100 income again, and I've got huge armies.
doctor is
And
in.
I was originally going to split my army against purple, but I was scared that if light green comes in, I'm going to be out of position. So I end up wrapping my army back around, keeping it together in the center. And by doing that, so the moment this army moved, I then removed this army back round. And I moved off purple's choke because I didn't want to get sandwiched like what happened to grey. So I ended up backing up really, really heavily. And because I was able to back up, I didn't lose anything, and they also didn't take too much land off me. So again, if I speed this up, you'll see I straight away move this army away, I move this army back, and I hold this Ukraine-Poland position, because it means that I can defend and I can attack very easily. If light green tries to find me, I can come and kill all of light green. But at the same time, if purple comes in, I can go down and defend him easily.
Base is under attack.
So now I'm thinking, how am I going to keep this game moving? Because I'm big, but I'm big with a lot of income, but I don't have much bank. So my main fear here was securing my position, and that meant getting rid of Franz Joseph. So I built a few banshees up top. It was only 5 or 6 six banshees, just to try and like force Assassin to spend more. But all in all, I just didn't want him there. I didn't want to build a navy. I'm getting 100 income a turn, and he's only at 8. So he doesn't want to fight me either. So I just tell him to evac. He asked me for peace, I just tell him to evac, that's all. I didn't want him there, and securing Franz Joseph for me just means that my north is safe. And he obliges, he takes a leave, he's pretty grateful to evac, and I'm happy now too, because I've now got 4 banshees which I can use to hit islands whenever I want. So now my aim is I just want to escort these units away. I don't want to like kill anything, and I just want to make sure that they're not there. And so again, the main thing that happens this game is light green and grey are like sort of what's blocking this game. If light green decided he wants to let grey in and they want to 3v1 me, that's when I could have a great position of fighting all of them. But light green ends up, for some reason, continuously hits grey because grey took his income. So earlier on when I hit Poland and light green ends up basically suiciding me in Scandi, he's doing the same thing to green here. He's pretty hot-headed. And he wasn't thinking very clearly because he ends up getting sandwiched extremely hard. So I'm going to speed this up just a little bit more because it's a bit of a downtime in the game, and I'm just sort of just banking up a little bit more and keeping my units like out of people's way. I want people to move in, I want people to take land. I don't want to be holding chokes and being boring. But this is the boring part of the game. I've got to wait and see what happens with these guys. Yellow leaves. Yellow, that's one more person out of the game. That's really big for me. Another person that could have potentially backstabbed me or taken my land. So with yellow gone, now it's like, okay, great. I get Crimea, I've taken a Franz Joseph. And now it's just a lot of the big guys, a lot of the better players. So this is probably the best players in the lobby from the start, besides Predator, and Father, who were eliminated. So this is pretty strong. Like, Purple's got a lot of tanks. So he was a bit scary, but he was a much worse player than anyone. So I still wasn't worried about Purple at all. As you see, I never have any units on his border. And this is what changes the game here. When you see players who are as hot-headed as light green, go for plays like this, you've got to be prepared. So what I want to do is, I probably want to move this army into Romania, Belarus, sorry, and this army into Ukraine. So the moment light green dies, or the moment this fight gets a little bit out of hand, I can come in with my full army and I can sweep up and take everything. And that's what I end up doing as well. So what I do is I end up waiting for these armies to fight here for as long as possible. At the moment, Grey does this really, really effective job. Really smart from him. He comes from behind and sandwiches all of light green. And I feel sorry for light green because I get some PTSD from this, because this exactly happened to me later on in this game. So light green wins the south, but his north gets absolutely annihilated. And as you see, I see that coming, and I rush my entire army down to France because I don't want to fucking lose this game by letting like Grey win. So I rush straight in, and they lose. They just end up killing each other to just bits. They just suicide their armies against each other, and I'm now waiting for Purple to come in. So as you can see, the big light pink turd is moving across the map, and it's heading straight in a V-line, and I've got to secure Netherlands, and I've got to secure Italy before Grey gets there, since Grey just annihilated light green in that fight. And now I'm also hitting Grey in both the islands, and I'm hitting him in, I'm going to start hitting him in Iceland and Greenland and Scotland whilst I'm pushing him in these fronts, because he doesn't really want to be defending the islands with his income when he's getting hit so hard. in the middle. So again, purple's moving a bit too early with this army, so my army's going to be in a great position to hold the choke in Ukraine, whilst also being in a fantastic position in Italy, securing the main chokes. And again, this position here is vital for me. If I'm going for the win right now, I've actually got to take light green out of the game. So I can't afford to give light green Denmark because it exposes my Scandi. My Scandinavia is basically where all my income is right now, because Russia's going to get cut and I've got to keep a corner alive. So if I gave light green the corner, light green could come back in this game very easily. So I end up building 2 BCs, a couple of Goliath, a couple of tanks, and I've got to hold this position whilst fighting grey. That's what I do. You see here in a moment. I hold purple until his Ukraine army helps him, and I'm constantly pushing this light green Denmark choke. I cannot afford to let light green live in this game after getting hit so heavily. So I now move out of Ukraine, and now my army is backing up into Italy, and I'm just trying to force Zealot to run away, MercifulZlot, and he ends up backing out and gives me too much space, and now I'm able to push through really hard. As you see, I target fire all of light green's drop ships. I don't let him get anything else to drop again. And this position here, I'm going to keep on sending Marauders, keep on sending some tanks, keep on sending some Goliaths in there. And I'm going to punish Grey really, really heavily. And the moment Grey continues to back out, I actually end up getting a lot of stuff for free. And this is when the biggest part of this game happens, is in Germany, when Purple, he's really, really bad at taking the map, because as you see, the way he's coming in, he's not finishing Ukraine, he's not taking Balkans, he's set himself on an attack command up in Ukraine. And I'm sort of thinking to myself that that's really weird, because any decent player would be taking this income, so he's not able to micro very well, and he's also seems to be a bit lagging in the head. So we're able to just take all of Purple's army for free. So I end up want to hold Grey in Morocco, and I then want to wrap my army around to deal with Purple, so that's what I end up doing, sending more than half my army back, and leaving just a quarter of my army to fight this army over here, which is more than enough to deal with it with these amount of tanks. So if we check the unit tab right now, Purple, who has banked this entire game, has got 60 tanks, but I'm not that far behind, considering that I fought this entire game. I'm still on 50 tanks, plus more medics, plus more marines, and basically the exact same marauders. So, but Purple's with his full army in this position, whereas I'm split. A third of my army is away. So right now, I've held against light green up top, and I'm taking England off with grey, because England is like his stronghold. That's out on the map currently. And right now, the main thing is holding Purple, but again, I've got a bit of a bad micro here. I set these on a move attack, sorry, they're on a move and then attack command. So I lost a lot of tanks for free. And then he comes into the choke, which is really big for me. So I have to move this army up to Denmark, and this is where Purple basically just gets outplayed. Again, as you see, I'm constantly taking my income back. So the moment I pushed Grey out, I finish off Spain, I finish off France, I retake Russia, and I'm planning on retaking Ukraine, as well as like Romania. So my income is going to be back up to over 100 income whilst taking this fight. So that's basically what helps me win this game. Basically just the income advantage that I seem to have over people while constantly fighting them. I lose a bit of army here, so I realise it's probably time to let Grey out of Africa, out of Middle East soon. So I end up backing out and using all my army to go back, and then wrapping again. So the reason this is a bit of an effective unit choice to move this out is Grey's not going to have any impact. Yes, Grey leaves into Spain and takes France, but it's going to take him at least a turn or 2 turns before he's going to reach Italy or Germany. And so Grey's going to be completely useless while I'm going to be entirely focused on Purple with my army. And so I've let Grey out of the chicken coop, and instead I'm able to just focus entirely on dealing with Purple. So again, I'm finishing my income, and I'm going to decide, okay, I'm going to put a few BCs, I'm just going to start focusing Purple's tanks down. Grey's going to come in, let Grey come in, let Assassin come in, they're no issue to me. Now it's just about killing off the big armies and keeping my army as healthy as possible. So it's cut a bit of income of his. And here, I think I'd take, this is a pretty even Italy fight, but again, look at that Germany and whittling it down because he's unable to micro very well. And now, as you see, my army that came from Spain is now wrapping back around into Germany to kill this army up here. So just like that, half of Purple's army is getting absolutely wrecked by my army which I saved from Italy. Yet Grey is having no impact, he's killing nothing right now. And so we're able to outplay and manipulate the map with just a little bit of decision making in terms of when to back out, when to continue pushing. And right now, like, Purple's losing a lot of tanks and Purple's losing a lot of units, and he's feeding me bounty. Because if you look at my minerals, it's shooting up. Every single time I kill a tank, it's 5 minerals. And Purple did the weirdest thing I've ever seen. He sent his units on move command through here. So I just mass build marauders in all these barracks and just start killing every single tank that leaves. And that's just, my income just shoots up about, this will be over 200 by the time that I get all these marauders and all these tanks in the middle. And now, just because I killed Purple so hard, I'm able to wrap back around and force Grey out again. And Grey is no longer able to push me. And I've got units in England to drop, and the only person I'm actually really worried about is Assassin and his bank. But on 8 income, he realistically, because this game has been so quick moving and I've been forcing people to fight so much, he will only have about 190, 200 bank top. So Assassin's, oh, he's actually got no bank, he's been spending it on Marines. And a few units here, so yeah, Assassin's actually got nothing. So I'm going to make sure Assassin can't come in behind me, I'm going to go force him back again, and I'm going to come rapping on Grey. So I'm going to come out, push into France, I'm going to push into Middle East, and now the game is over. The game is won, but I do, again, just like in other games, I get very complacent once I think the game is won, and I go for a death push, and I end up throwing half my army, and I have to end up focusing super hard to win the game and close it out. So we're catching a lot of, like, the Banshees that were here for Assassin. We end up killing everything, and we're denying Assassin from getting any income, any foothold on the map. We're going to deny him from getting anything. And it's really important that we do stuff like that, because at least this way we're able to control the map easily. Assassin's now, only time he's ever able to do stuff is with these units here, which I didn't actually see at the time, but yeah, whatever's here in the islands. So this is where I get complacent. I'm like, there's no way I can lose this game. I've got so many units in Sicily, so many tanks, so many units in Italy, so many units coming down from Scandi. I just killed Light Green in Scandi, so Light Green is fully dead now. I've got units in England. I'm like, this game has won. There's no way. Like, look at Purple build all these vultures. I'm like, there's no way I've lost this game. I'm just gonna push Spain. What can go wrong if I push Spain, really? Apparently everything can go wrong. So this is a pretty good fight for me, actually. I end up stalling more than half his army in the south, while I get a great surround on his north. And I tank Micro in the middle, and I end up punishing Sparky a lot for that, and I end up getting more tanks than he's able to kill at mine. And right now it's a position where Assassin is going to drop me hard in Greece. He comes in hard in Greece, but again I wrap back around with my units and I'm able to come deal with him. So just like that, my units are in a really solid position. I probably didn't need this many units in Middle East. So half of these units could have been coming back up to deal with this. But the main mistake I make this game is, these units I don't deal with, and these units here, they're not in Italy defending. What these units do, they go down to deal with Assassin instead of these units coming in. So I end up going down and getting caught out of position, because you'll see in a second, these units are able to bypass my entire army and sandwich me in France. The same thing that happened to Light Green earlier. And I nearly threw the game because of it. It took a lot of focus to close the game out. So again, I see this like position here. I'm just like, oh well, it's over. Like, I don't even care. Like, I'm just gonna push through this. I'm just gonna man fight him. And again, I'm finishing off my income. I'm gonna start finishing off Russia. I'm gonna start finishing off all my income yet again. And again, you see my units, they're stuck in Serbia. So these units could just completely ditch me and just run straight into France. And I was just like completely oblivious to it. I spoke about brain lag from Light Green, and I spoke about brain lag on others. I suffered severe brain lag right there. That was next level brain lag. So here I lost about 4 tanks, and instead I take about 5 or 6 tanks in return, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, I'm just gonna A-click this. Game's over, time to A-click. Oh, yeah, as the father said, it's not looking too good for light ping. I choked too hard, and just like what happened to Vici earlier, same thing has happened to me. I've lost everything, absolutely everything. And I'm trying to come desperately with my army. No, please, save me. I'm like, oh, this is so tragic. It actually upsets me to see this again. And the moment this happened, I was a bit annoyed. I was like, okay, Grey's got a bit of an army still. Assassin's got his army again, and so does, yeah, and so does Purple. So, okay, OpaOpaEx, sort yourself out. Let's push this. Let's close this one out fully. Okay, so finish off Russia, finish off Ukraine, finish off Middle East, and at the same time, do not give Grey more income in the south, because Grey is now the only threat to you. So that's exactly what I do. I start finishing off all my positions on the map, and I give up Balkans again, because I give up Balkans for a short period of time, because I've got to deal with the north. The moment I deal with the north, I can then wrap back around the Balkans, so losing this stuff to Assassin isn't a big deal for me. It gives him cards, it gives him income, but I've got to make sure I don't lose this bit up here. Like this, I don't let this army survive. So, ultimately, what my main plan here is just stalling. Grey isn't hitting me anymore. Grey's focused on Middle East, and I've broken Middle East essentially. I come through, I target the tanks, I then get a few BCs, and I just move in into the choke and I break it. So now Middle East is pretty much secured, and I've now dealt with everything in the north. I'm able to deal with France again, and now I'm like, okay, I can now deal with Assassin. Assassin's now out of position. Assassin, again, this is like the classic, you let them get a lot of income for free, and then they overextend, they get baited, so his tanks are now open, his marines are a bit out of position, and I'm able to sweep back on him, because I was focusing on one issue, I was giving up land on the back, and just like that I'm able to wrap back around and deal with him after he feels like, oh, everyone's like, oh no, Light Ping's dead now. But realistically, I just took out their main army without losing anything. I can now come back, take back my income without losing anything, and then I can sweep back up on Grey, let Grey come in again, and then I can, once I kill Dark Blue, I can then go back on Grey. And that's what I do. I defend Turkey again, I defend all my income, and again I've got Russia, I'm finishing off Middle East, and just like that, the game is over. Like, the game is, from what nearly became a loss, I managed to hold out, and it was pretty close, I'd say at least. And this was a game where I had about, it was a 70 turn game, 70-80 turn game. But as you see, I'm able to re-close this game out just because I took fairly smart engages for most of it until that Spain big whoop. That was a big oof from me. So now I'm just going to block Grey wherever he tries to take income and just beat him here in Italy and make my stand in Italy again, and then just close this game out because it's pretty much over. So I've got all these, see again, I've got all these marines. I haven't rallied in a long time since I've taken these new countries, so I should be rallying everything over, but since I don't, I'm still able to just take the fight and just close the map out. Again, I'm at 134 income fighting 3 people, so every time they cut my income, I'm consistently keeping an eye on it, and I'm consistently taking it back to ensure that I'm really healthy in terms of minerals. And I'm going to be constantly keeping my income healthy per round so that I can pump out more tanks and keep myself fighting a 1v3. If I'm same income or only 10 income ahead of the second player, I can't realistically fight a 1v3 like that. I've got to stay super ahead and be super aggro at all times. Never stop and focus one player. Always focus one player with everything you've got. And just try and bait other people in. Give other people land. Don't be afraid to give up land to people and let them come in. And then you can always take it back once you finish with the business. So again, a 70% finish at turn 79 in a very stacked lobby with players like Assassin, Father, Vici, Predator, MercifulZlot and Sparky. It is a very stacked lobby, but again, just by playing a pretty solid game plan of not being afraid to give up land and this hyper aggressive you're going to focus everyone with everything you got, and you're going to bully someone, and you're going to be able to take and move around the map and not be afraid to give up land and move around the map and change the dynamic of the map, change the borders yourself, change the boundaries. Let purple border grey in Balkans. Let purple come and take your Middle East. Like, let grey come and take France, a border like green. Let yellow border like green. You know, I'm letting people take the map, and by letting people take over the map and give them new borders and give them new position, I'm basically dictating who's going to be fighting who and where they're going to be fighting, all because I'm like, okay, I'm in a position which is, I'm stalling the game myself. If I decided to sit, I'm stalling the game myself. So by not sitting and by giving people these new opportunities to fight each other, the game moves, and it's always going to be a high action, a very fast-paced game. And so if I go onto the end game of this one, this was an 80 turn game. It was just over an hour long, and I was recording it live as well. And this was if I go onto my profile, this was the first game that I played, and this had a 1300 APM game, which isn't too high, but in a lobby like this, for fighting for an hour, it was actually pretty decent, I'd say. And in terms of, if I check the graphs again, you can actually see I was extremely close to purple when I fought him, but you can just see the dip of his army because he was unable to fight me. And you can see my dip when I threw the game in Spain, how massive it was. But yeah, keeping your lead and slowly growing your army over time, you can see how my army spiked after pushing Assassin and how it consistently stayed up and kept on going up, even though I'm taking these huge fights. So yeah, I hope this game was, or this replay analysis, I hope it was helpful. I would have uploaded the live gameplay and where I was talking about this live when I was playing. However, I accidentally recorded it in 1440 HD, so the upload time has been absolutely exhausting. So I'm going to upload this in a bit lower quality in order to get it out quicker, and it's going to be done as a replay analysis. But again, there were very good players in this lobby, and anyone can win in a lobby with this many decent players just by playing the map and playing it smart. So I hope you guys learned something, and I'll check you. Well, yeah, sorry. Hope you guys you check it out next time and any other future videos I have. And if you guys have any feedback, feel free to let me know and send me a message on Discord if you've got any replays you'd like me to analyze as well. But yeah, cheers. Thank you very much.